What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about why 2021 has me extremely excited for the Nintendo Switch, because unlike this year to a degree, there are going to be a lot of big new type of games for the Switch platform, and it's going to be very exciting for owners out there. So let's go ahead and get right into it, and we're starting off with a game that I absolutely love to talk about. And if I wanted to, or if I could talk about Bravely Default 2 for 30 minutes nonstop, but we're not going to do that. What we are going to talk about is why Bravely Default 2 is going to be so good. So the original Bravely Default game is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. It's one of the best 3DS games I've ever played. It's one of the best Square Enix RPGs that most people probably haven't played. If you like the old school Final Fantasy, you've got jobs, classes, skills, all of that. Bravely Default has it. Don't be turned off too much by the chibi or smaller type of art style that it has with it, because it has a big gameplay to make up for it. This game is awesome, and even from the demo that they showed off, the gameplay is so fast and smooth for being a turn-based game. You can speed it all the way up if you want to. You can get through battles really quickly. You can change classes in order to take out your foes fast and efficient, get battle experience boosted, all sorts of stuff in order to efficiently play the game and enjoy it. And of course, the story is going to be amazing. I already know it is. The Bravely Default games have great stories. I'm not talking about Bravely Default and Layer. Let's not talk about that game. We're talking about the original Bravely Default game. Absolutely amazing. So I'm really looking forward to Bravely Default 2 when it comes over to Nintendo Switch in February 2021. But to keep things going with the RPG train here, we've got Monster Hunter Stories 2. And remember, guys, this isn't in any particular order or anything, just games that I'm excited about for 2021. Monster Hunter Stories 2. This is a title that originally launched on the Nintendo 3DS, Monster Hunter Stories, and it is a turn-based RPG game in the Monster Hunter universe with unique characters to that game. And it's way better than I thought it would be. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, a Monster Hunter spin-off. It's not really going to be as solid as some of the main games. It's going to just do some weird things. But no, it's actually really good. It has in-depth mechanics. It has phenomenal graphics for the Nintendo 3DS, at least for what that system could pull off. And now with Monster Hunter Stories 2, we're going to have an even bigger budget. You can clearly see that. A bigger game, probably a lot more party members, and more monsters to pick from. I'm excited for this game here. I think this could be a sleeper mega hit for the Nintendo Switch and for Capcom in summer of 2021. Now, keeping with the theme here of mega hit RPGs, let's talk about some Mega 10, as they like to call it, with Shin Megami Tensei 5. This game, remember, it was supposed to be dead. People said we haven't seen it in years, and you know what? I don't blame them. Now, I knew it was still alive. I just know Atlus. I know how Atlus operates, and sometimes they just take a lot of time for perfection because their games are really, really good. Obviously not perfect per se, but they're very good, and they take their time to make sure that they're very good. And that is no exception with Shin Megami Tensei 5 on the Nintendo Switch. This is supposed to be based off of what Atlus has said, or Sega said in their investors meetings. It's a first half 2021 game. So they're way further along than what maybe some would have thought, considering that the game got its first real debut longer trailer. I mean, we had a couple. We had the original trailer at the Nintendo presentation, then we had the It's Coming to the West trailer, or the second trailer, and then pretty much it's been done after that. I mean, that was like 2 years ago or something, or 2 or 3 years ago. And then we finally got the newest trailer here that showed off a bit more, and it looks good. Remember, this is the first ever Unreal Engine 4 Atlus game. Atlus in-house developed Unreal Engine 4. This should be the best looking game from a graphical perspective that Atlus has ever done, because remember, Persona 5 Royal, those are all done on their older engine. This is on Unreal Engine 4, so they're kind of moving over to something that's new for them, which probably caused them more issues than they would like to admit. But I'm excited for it. If you're a Mega 10 fan, you know what you get here. You're going to get solid, difficult, but brutal gameplay. You're going to get a lot of depth. You're going to get a lot of monsters to collect, strategy and battling. everything. I know what to expect. I'm just waiting to actually see the game. So Megaten is a good one in a long-running franchise. But speaking of long-running franchises, let's keep it going here with Monster Hunter Rise. Now, I will fully admit, guys, I am not a huge Monster Hunter fan. I've been trying to get into the game since like the PSP and the PS2 and the Wii and everything, and I just was never able to get into it. But I think that with Monster Hunter Rise and the new mobility options and being able to do everything you can do with the power moves that they have there, and also with the air mobility, that little thing is really cool, and I like the leverage that they're pulling with it. So I think that Monster Hunter Rise just might be finally the Monster Hunter game that gets me more into it, especially if they have a solid single player experience in there as well. I know Monster Hunter Worlds was pretty good. I was able to check that out a little bit and kind of see how it is, and that seems like it'd be pretty cool, but I don't necessarily play with a lot of people on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One or PC when it comes to online. So with the Nintendo Switch, I can finally play with a lot of the hardcore Monster Hunter fans that I usually play Mario Kart with and other games as well. So I'm looking forward to finally getting a new Monster Hunter game on the Nintendo Switch built ground up for the platform, and that's probably like the most important thing, or one of the big things to stress out of this. And a lot of these games that we're talking about, they aren't brought over from other systems, they aren't put on this, but they're built for the platform itself, and that's what makes this exciting about 2021, especially with Monster Hunter Rise, a custom fully featured Monster Hunter game for the Nintendo Switch platform and not just bringing something over. So that also has me very excited about Monster Hunter Rise and what it could bring to the table. Optimized for portable play and also optimized for dock TV play, all the different control styles. I think it should be pretty good. And also, speaking of stuff that should be pretty good as well, we talked about this recently on the channel, but if you missed the announcement and if you missed the video, Neo, The World Ends With You is coming out for the PlayStation 4 and also for the Nintendo Switch, summer 2021 to be exact, and I could not be more thrilled with the announcement. I'm a huge The World Ends With You fan. I played the game originally back when I was like in college, my senior year or past that or something, when it came out 2008, 2007, and I loved the gameplay style. I loved the uniqueness. The music was phenomenal. Everything was just so great in that game. How they did the gameplay with the pins and how you collected them and leveled up and got new ones. It was just fantastic. And then they showed off Neo, The World Ends With You 13 years later, and now we finally have a sequel that is fitting for the game, and it just looks amazing. It looks like they took the gameplay and the combat, completely made it fully 3D, and the art style wasn't compromised because it's on a much more powerful system, jumping up generations now from the DS all the way to the Switch and the PlayStation 4 as well. So very good to see that game. I think it's gonna play great whether you're playing Switch Lite portable on the PlayStation 4, docked on the TV, backwards compatible with the PS5, or on your Nintendo Switch docked. They're gonna fix a lot of things that people had in terms of the problems with the controls with The World Ends With You, the remix on the Switch, because it's not built for a touchscreen platform like the Nintendo DS was, and they're building it with button controls in mind. So I'm very excited to play Neo, The World Ends With You. And speaking of getting excited when it comes to things, probably out of all of this list, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is probably my most anticipated game for a multitude of reasons. One, it made me fall in love with the Nintendo Switch in the first place with the original Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Two, it's my favorite Legend of Zelda game of all time because it reminded me back in the day when I first picked up the original Legend of Zelda, and it was just you in a world and you can do what you want, or at least you felt that you could do what you want, and you can just go about and play the game that you wanted to play. Not a lot of structure, not a lot of this or that. You got to get this and then do this. It was like, hey, you got this canvas and you can just play it. You got this world. And it made me get the same feeling that I got back then in the 80s when I first played The Legend of Zelda, how it is all the way now in 2017. It was absolutely an amazing feeling that I haven't been able to recreate. It's just been crazy. It's just a feeling that I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to recreate, but it's awesome to see that they're following up the best-selling Zelda game of all time with another one, and I couldn't be more excited to see what they're going to do. Are they going to have more traditional dungeons? Are there going to be shrines? How's that work? What about the combat and the gameplay? Weapon breaking, that's probably going to go away. What are they going to do with that? Korok seeds, different types of stuff. Who are the people going to be? What of the different races within Hyrule are you going to meet? I mean, there's so many stories. How is Calamity Ganon dealt with? What are they doing? Somebody bringing them back? Is there a cult? Is there something? I mean, I can just sit here and talk about this forever, especially with Age of Calamity and how things turned out there. So I'm excited to see what's going to be going on with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. I do think it's not confirmed for 2021, guys, but I'm pretty sure that it will be a late 2021 game, probably the big holiday title for sales in 2021 at the very end of the year. But I also wanted to say this is just an honorable mention why I'm even still more excited for the Nintendo Switch. We went down 6 major games there, right? But there's still more. We have Atelier Ryza 2. We have Ys 9. We have Trails of Cold Steel 4. We also have Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster as well, plus games like Disgaea 6. All of that stuff is coming to Switch, and that's before we even know all of Nintendo's first-party lineup. We don't really have much when it comes to it, and you know there's going to be games coming out. Even games like Persona 5 Scramble the Phantom Strikers has a probable early February 2021 release date. So what do you guys think about all these different titles, and what are you most excited for? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.